A pleasant day to everyone. My name is Michael Aldingayan, and today I'm going to present my action research. Digital literacy of grade 7 online distance learners, basis for an orientation program on online learning. Abstract. Online distance learning is a new trend in today's pandemic. Online distance learning, or ODL, is one of the effective way of learning due to suppleness in many aspects. In line with that, the purpose of this study is to give the grade 7 students of Eastern Bacoor National High School an orientation program on online learning. This research will serve as a platform and a guide for us, an educator, teacher, researcher, students in the use of online distance learning, and those learners will enhance their 21st century skills in digital literacy. Introduction. Distance learning is one of the widely used approach in today's education due to COVID-19 pandemic. Distance learning is a new way of educating students, in which the main concept is separation of teacher and student during their classes. There are different ways of learning in this pandemic, which various modalities exist, like printed modules, online platforms, and educational programs like TV and radio. On June 19, 2020, the Department of Education released a DepEd Order number 12 Series 2020 entitled Adoption of Basic Education Learning Continuity Plan for School Year 2020-2021 in the light of COVID-19 public health emergency, which stipulated that the online distance learning, or ODL, is one of the distance learning delivery modalities that can be adopted for learning to continue. Similarly stated in the order, ODL features the teacher as facilitator, engaging an active participation using various technologies accessed through internet while they are geographically remote from each other during instruction. And according to Berg et al. 2016, distance learning is also called distance education, e-learning, and online learning. In this form of education, in which the main elements include physical separation of teachers and students during the instruction, and the use of various technologies to facilitate student-teacher and student-to-student communication. Online learning is quite impressive due to the features on how to use and manageable for learners, because you can finish the task online with a given time frame. In attending online distance learning, there are skill requirements for them to become digitally literate and capable. According to Rupert 2007, he enumerated the 7 tips to be successful online student. Number 1, develop time management strategy. Second, make the most online discussion. Number 3, use it or lose. Number 4, make questions to useful to your own learning. Number 5, stay motivated. Number 6, communicate the instruction techniques that work. Number 7, make connections to the fellow students. So here are the 7 tips to become successful online student. And contrary to the positive feedback in online distance learning, here are the challenges and struggles of the online distance learning as cited in the study of Belgica et al. 2020. Internet connectivity is a popular complaint being highlighted among the teachers and students as the Philippines is still one of the countries in Asia with a slow internet connection. Internet is one of the problems. That's why there are only few learners attended classes, and some of them lives in remote areas. And other struggles of the study stated, students' lack of motivation, participation, poor comprehension and retention, and lack of support in online classes. For the digital citizenship, it's also continuously developing norms of appropriate, responsible, and empowered technology use according to Rebol 2017. In his statement, digital citizenship is on how to act while using the digital tools and on how to empower the learners into a good citizen while using and browsing the internet. And Lovelace also enumerated the 5 ways of digital literacy that make learning more important. Number 1, take learning everywhere. Number 2, interact with peers. Number 3, constant connection with the teacher. Number 4, work at their own pace. Number 5, decrease behavior issues. Digital literacy skills and line of distance learning are important for learners, workers, and everywhere who involved in using internet and technologies. Learners can be easily be able to do his homework, research, and performance tasks by using internet, as long as they are digitally literate and using the online platform properly. Throughout the literature, there is a reliable evidence that online distance learning requires information about how digital literacy should be implemented, used, and developed for the learners. Hence, the study explored how will the online learners of Eastern Bacoor National High School, or particularly grade 7 level, to be able to come up a possible program such as orientation and provisions of the technical knows and hows of online distance learning. For the research question, in general, to this study sought to determine the level of digital literacy of online distance learners in grade 7 level of Eastern Bacoor National High School. And to answer this, the study sought to answer the following specific question. Number 1, what is the demographic profile of the respondents in terms of age and gender? Number 2, what devices do the respondent most commonly use for online distance learning? Number 3, what is the primary source of internet connectivity of the respondents? Number 4, what is the level of digital literacy of the respondents? And number 5, what is the digital literacy skills of the respondents that need to be enhanced? For the methodology, the target participants and other sources of the data and information, the targeted population of the study was set online distance learners in grade 7 level of Eastern Bacoor National High School. A sample of 60 participants were selected through simple random sampling, randomly selecting 20 participants, each from the 3 class sections adopting online distance learning or ODL, namely 7 Luna, 7 Montoya, and 7 Perez. The study utilized the descriptive survey, designed as the data were to be obtained using an online survey form made through Google Forms. For the data gathering methods, to gather the required data, the researcher initially selected 20 participants from each of the 3 sections, 7 Luna, 7 Montoya, and 7 Perez, which adopted the online distance learning modality. After having identified the participants, the researcher provided them with links to the online survey form where they responded the basic information items in the digital literacy statements. For the data analysis, the raw data was extracted from the automatically generated from Google Sheet, which consolidated the respondents or responses of the respondents. This was downloaded and it was treated using Microsoft Excel, employing descriptive statistics to analyze the data. And analyzing the demographic profile, learning devices, and internet connectivity of the respondents, frequency count and percentage were used in determining the level of digital literacy of respondents. Responses were quantified using a 4-point Likert scale. Results and discussions. Demographic profile of the respondent in terms of age. Table 2 shows or presents a demographic profile of the respondents in terms of age. As a whole, there were 17 participants who were 12 years old, 34 participants were 13 years old, and 7 participants were 14 years old, and 2 were 15 years old. This age group is believed to somehow more familiar with the use of digital technologies, as the age group is usually exposed to mobile technologies such as mobile gaming and social media. For table 3, demographic profile of the respondents in terms of gender. The table 3 presents the results suggest that there are a number of learners enrolled by gender do not vary much in terms of number within the grade level, but that's not evenly distributed across sections, as some of the sections were dominated by a particular gender. For the table 4, frequency distributions and percentage on online learning devices utilized by the respondents for online distance learning. For the desktop computer, the frequency is 13 and the percentage is 21.67%. Laptop computer, the frequency is 18 respondents and the percentage is 30%. For the tablet Android with iOS, the frequency is 5 and the percentage is 8.33. For the smartphone Android with iOS, the frequency is 49 and the percentage is 81.67. And for the basic phone, we have 7 and the percentage is 11.67. From the result of the survey, the most of the learners make use of smartphones for online distance learning. The overlap of the percentage suggests that one of the learners possess and make use more than one learning device. Many of the learners also have desktop and laptop computers available for online learning use. Ultimately, this indicates that these learners opted to adopt the online distance learning modality because they have the material requirements for online learning prior to the enrollment. For the table 5, frequency distribution and percentage on the internet connectivity of the respondents in online distance learning. Based on the data shows, majority of the respondents use home broadband DSL, got the 44 in frequency, and the percentage is 73.33%. Results indicated that the most of the learners were prepared for online learning, as the majority have broadband internet connections at home. Some of the respondents also have the financial capacity to avail the internet connectivity through consumable means such as use of prepaid, dial-up, and mobile internet connectivity. Few of the respondents were also dependent on the cheaper means of available internet connectivity like piso Wi-Fi, which is similar to the prepaid loading but through vending machines that provide internet connectivity that could be either be signal dependent or range variable. For the table 6, presents the weighted mean of responses determining the level of digital literacy of the respondents. As you can see, majority of the verbal interpretations among the digital literacy skills are high. Collectively, when all the computed weighted means were averaged, a general weighted of 3.27 was obtained, which is interpreted as high in terms of level of digital literacy skills. Therefore, the respondents were described to have a level of digital knowledge, need for online distance learning, and are best in installing and installing the applications to their devices and researching through the internet. When the specific weighted means were wrong, the results suggest that the responses can further be enforced on areas of navigating specific mobile applications, referencing materials obtained from the internet, sharing screen and content, virtual meetings, copying digital materials, and typing. Hence, this can be focused in programs that could be developed to help and improve the learners into becoming digitally literate individuals and possibly enable them to become more successful as an online learners and to become globally competitive. And conclusion to the result of the survey is indicative that the learners who enter a high school within the age of 12 to 14 have adequate knowledge needed for online distance learning. These learners are knowledgeable on producing and manipulating digital materials. Their learning devices can access learning applications, communicate with peers, and perform independent research and study on their own. For the recommendations, the researcher recommends that the learners be provided with a structured orientation on the use of learning management system as the content and delivery specific technological aids for learning. This can be unify learner knowledge on what, how, and when to produce a learning materials that could improve their learning and performance in online classes. Second, alternatively, it also recommended that the teachers be similarly trained on how to teach and integrate digital literacy skills in the delivery of instructions and provisions of learning activities. This way, learners can become more exposed to current trends of teaching and learning and perhaps decrease the number of difficulties experienced by the learners in online distance learning. For the number 3 recommendations, ultimately, the researcher recommends that the ICT learning and facilitate of schools be further enhanced and to meet the demands of distance learning, especially during the time of crisis. This will ensure that the learning continues no matter what circumstance. There is proofs that the learning extends beyond the four walls of the classrooms. And thank you very much for listening. Once again, my name is Michael Aldingayan, Digital Literacy of Grade 7 Online Distance Learners. Thank you.